around like female attraction, you know, the benefits of the journey, the gifts that come with it. And by the way, having a lot of females attracted to you wouldn't necessarily be a gift. I mean, that could be a curse. You know, part of what I've learned on my journey in this life is that a lot of things that seem good at first turn out to be bad, and a lot of things that seem bad at first turn out to be good. And so we don't always know. We don't always know what's best for us. And hence the importance of a spiritual life, of a prayer life, of faith with works, a living faith that involves your participation, right? So something that I think is very, very important on this journey. So I don't know if this is going to be a popular video because I'm talking about something that people don't necessarily want to hear, you know, but I'm going to say it anyways because I think it matters. And I know that I've got a few real ones out here that are with me. And, you know, I'm not doing this for clout, for validation, for money. Like I hope that's clear. You know, I hope that's clear in the vibration that you guys are picking up from me, that I'm coming from a place where I sincerely want to contribute something positive to the world. I want to see my brothers and sisters glowing, shining, succeeding, overcoming obstacles, experiencing triumph over adversity in life. Adversity in life is essential. There is no triumph without adversity. There's really no meaning in life without adversity, if you think about it, right? What does any of it mean? If we don't struggle, if we don't have difficult times, then what does any of it mean? And without meaning, you know what happens to a person whose life has no meaning? Well, that's a good definition of depression. And I'm telling you this as somebody who has spent the majority of my life depressed. My life lacked meaning. I lacked purpose. It was like a ship without a rudder. My main function, you know, at least it's like I wasn't born like this necessarily. You know, I think we're all born imperfect to a degree. I mean, the second you enter a body, you know, there are cravings and temptations and imperfections and fallibilities and all these things. You know, to reference, you know, scripture on this we're talking about like original sins, basically. You know, you come into the flesh and you're imperfect automatically. None of us are perfect, but you know, the beauty of that is that it puts us all on an equal playing field. And there is one that has all perfection, and that one is God the Father, who, as we are in these bodily temples, these fleshly meat suits, we're really incapable of comprehending perfection, right? The closest we get, you know, is the natural world. You know, the untainted beauty of a natural ecosystem, you know, the beauty of a human being who's walking in righteousness, in truth, in power, in the spirit, right? That's a thing to behold. It's also a lot of hideousness, all right? So let's get into it. Humility. I think humility and patience are two things that are indispensable on the semen retention journey. I think a lot of brothers that set out on this path set themselves up for failure by having expectations. Expectations that might be unrealistic or they might be realistic, because there are things that you can expect that are basically guaranteed to happen if you stay the course. But the thing is, expectations themselves are like a breeding ground for disappointment, okay? Because things happen on divine timing. They don't necessarily happen on our timing, right? So an important thing to understand, it's like, let's say you've made it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're like, well, how come the women aren't chasing me down? You know, how come my skin isn't perfect? You know, how come whatever, right? And if that's the experience you're having, it's because you had some expectation. And that's an indication that, you know, you need to check yourself. You just need to like look in the mirror maybe, or do some inner work and see like, well, what am I really doing this for, right? Is this really a matter of self-respect? Is this really a matter of me becoming the greatest version of myself? Is this really a matter of me walking hand in hand with God, being a man of God? Or is this about me actually still just trying to get some? Maybe you're just trying to get it a different way now. These are important questions to ask ourselves. And a lot of times we block blessings in our lives because we have these expectations and we have these attachments and these notions that are really subtle and they live in the mind. And as we make progress spiritually, a lot of times the mind comes in and tries to take credit for certain things. And, the old saying goes that pride cometh before the fall. So this is stuff to look out for as you walk this path, is just to be aware that, the mind is a tricky thing. It is a terrible master and a beautiful servant. Another old saying that's very true, right? So this is really about self-mastery. What we're doing here is about mastering ourselves, being in control of ourselves, in control of our emotions, our urges, our impulses, our cravings, the temptations that the world imposes on us, things like that, right? So let's say, for example, you've been on this path for a while and you expected to be getting a lot of attention from females and that's not happening, right? Well, you know what? You're lucky. That's a gift. That's a gift from God. God's making life nice, smooth sailing for you, right? When you're ready for those kind of tests, they'll come. They'll come. They'll come in God's timing. And maybe God's actually doing you a solid if that's the case. Maybe God's saying, hey, I think if I were to throw this kind of thing your way right now, you might fall. You might stumble. And I see you ascending. And God wants you to keep ascending. So at some point when you're ready, the tests will come. And when the tests come, again, the same way that what I'm getting at here is everything that's given to you, you should be thankful for. That's the correct attitude to have. That's what's going to bring you success. All right. And this applies directly. Now I'll touch on a topic that is very popular in the semen retention community. Bugs everywhere out here. Female attraction, right? So yeah, there's a lot of angles to this. A lot of things I could get into here, but I'm going to try and keep this video shorter and keep it simple. So let's just keep this about manifestation principles. All right. So we got a lot of teachers out there teaching about the law of manifestation. A lot of them are offering really false teachings around this, but a lot of them are really, really close to the truth, but not quite. And some people are out there teaching the real deal. Okay. And I think it's something to really understand, to understand manifestation, how it works, is something that you have to experience yourself. You manifest things in your life and you're able to reflect back on how it is that your attitudes and belief systems contributed to the reality that you find yourself in. That then you have real proof from your own personal experience about how this works, right? So if you have a mentality of lack, right, then you're going to manifest lack, okay? So if you're the kind of guy like I used to be that felt very desperate, man, you should have seen me when I was in high school. It was just, I don't know what it is about, maybe it's genetic, maybe it's spiritual, I don't know what it is, but I just, most guys in their teenage years get extremely horny, right? Look, if you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. This is par for the course, but it happens to some of us more than others, right? Some people don't have it as bad. I'm somebody that had it real bad. My libido was just insane. As soon as I had one, it was off the fucking charts, you guys. I just wanted to smash everything, everyone. And, but I had very high standards. I wanted the prettiest girl of all, but, I was really just trying to smash. And so, yeah, naturally, that made me very socially awkward because all of these girls in my mind have something that I don't have. So there you go. I'm already in lack mentality. And I did not do well with the ladies in high school, okay? I didn't end up with a girlfriend till college, basically. And I was always frustrated and pissed off about it. And so what did I do? Well, I turned to the corn on the internet. I turned to drugs, turned to alcohol. I really just started destroying myself. And this was like my own manifestation work at play, because I had a belief system and I had a feeling about myself that I'm not getting what I need. I don't have enough. It's lack, right? It's that energy of lack. And so what did I experience was a lack of the type of attention I wanted from females. I got lots of girlfriends, friends that were girls, but I was always in the friend zone. And I was always frustrated about that. And so when I finally like hit it off with a girl that was like down, if you know what I mean, the freaky shit type of girl, and then we just, off to the races with it. And that girl ended up crushing me, just crushing me. I came home one day early from work. We moved in together pretty quick, says something about me. And she's in our bed with another guy. Shouldn't have been a surprise. I was shocked. What a fool I was, live and learn. So I was manifesting these lust-driven types of women. And eventually I did start to get what I want, in spades, having all kinds of debaucherous activity. And every time, man, I always felt like I came up empty. I'd live out one fantasy after another. I was always and a lot of these fantasies, by the way, weren't even mine. They were implanted in my mind from corn, from the screens, from the content on the screens, having 2 or 3 girls on me at once type of shit, right? That was my thing. And eventually one day I found myself in a situation where that was going down. And I ended up really depressed. It was one of the lowest points in my life. It was funny because here I am living out some fantasy that I thought I don't know what I thought that was going to do for me, but it didn't do anything for me other than make me feel empty inside, actually. I get sad when I even think about it. I'm sad for that version of me because I was so lost. And at one point, I ended up actually dating one of these girls that was part of this experience. And there was one time I'll never forget where she was on top of me, up and down, riding me. And I just burst out in tears. I just started sobbing. Of course, that freaked her out. She didn't know what to do with that. And I had to leave. And after that, things got really dark. Really, really dark with substances, drugs and alcohol. Because the sex wasn't doing it for me. And, that's a real low point. Then I got to a point where the drugs and the alcohol weren't doing it either. And then I tried to go back to sex. I had another bombshell girlfriend. Everybody in town was trying to hit it. Here I am getting engaged to this girl. Next thing I know, I'm losing everything. Maybe I'll get into detail more about this in a future video, but let's just say I came up empty-handed again, broken, totally broken. And again, I tried turning to substances, and then again, they did not work. Ultimately, this is what brought me to God. All of this suffering is what did it. Everything stopped working, and I finally surrendered. And ever since that true full surrender, my life has never been the same. And I've been on retention ever since. It's just seemed like a natural course of action, right? So as I walk this path, you guys, it's really important for me to always stay humble and to stay patient and to not expect anything. I've had great success with this journey so far. I know a lot of brothers really struggle with this. They struggle to make it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. For me, it's not hard. And it's just the grace of God. And it's because I know the alternative so well. I know what the alternative looks like, what it feels like, and where it leads. And so this is better. And part of the reason I'm able to do this is because I check myself on a regular basis. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. because I do get proud sometimes. I get a little too proud, and I have to check myself. I have to humble myself, lest God humble me for me, like he did. I've gone through enough. So I try to do that preemptively now, like stay humble. Don't expect anything. I'm not in this to get some. Not in this for women. Not in this for clout, like I said. I'm in this because I love God. And I thank him for creating me and saving me. And so I feel a moral obligation to share that with as many people as I possibly can. Right? Because this is a real powerful path. This is a lifestyle transformation that's going to bleed into all other areas of your life, and it's going to change everything, man. Mastery over the sexual urge is one of the most incredible feats that a man can achieve. And if you can achieve that, then there's really nothing you can't do, man. There's nothing you can't do. If you can overcome that, you can overcome just about anything. All right. I think that's all I got for this one. There will be more. Signing out. Peace, guys.